I know what I'm doing moment to moment, but I have no idea what's ahead. Michael Jordan. Skate to where the puck is going, not where it has been. Wayne Gretzky. When two great minds find themselves in contradiction, we should see this as an invitation. It's an invitation to think more deeply about the question they were trying to solve. So, what is the problem that the goat and the great one were trying to address? On the court and on the ice, it's often a question of time management, timing, and just plain time. For some, focusing on the present moment is the key to success. For others, going with the flow as the future slips into the past is the only option. Whether they knew it or not, the goat and the great one were stumbling onto some ancient questions here. The problem of temporality was addressed by most schools of thought in antiquity. Plato's Timaeus calls time the moving image of eternity, playing out for us amidst the stars. Aristotle's physics, meanwhile, makes time a matter of measurement, calling it the number of motion. Stoics like Marcus Aurelius, for their part, opted to focus on the present moment in time. Like MJ, the philosopher-emperor writes in his Meditations of our need to focus on the now. "Bear in mind," said Marcus, "that everyone lives only this present time." The boundaries of life can be found at the edges of the now. When we die, concluded Marcus, we are only leaving the present moment behind. The past was already gone, the future had not yet arrived, and so it was never ours to lose. The key to living well was simply to dwell in the present and complete the task at hand. The message of Marcus still resonates with many powerful people today. The Stoic rhetoric of present-mindedness lends itself all too well to the contemporary discourse around mindfulness. Ivanka Trump even quoted Marcus to this effect on her Twitter feed. The key to happiness she found in Marcus was to be satisfied with one's present activity according to nature. Kanye too opted into the rhetoric of the now by means of his Twitter feed. Be here now, he advises. Embrace every moment for its greatness. This is life. And as he concluded, this is the greatest movie we will ever see. On this logic, our lives would be made up of individual snapshots stitched together. But what if we have this all wrong? What if time is more than a stitched-together series of discrete moments? The ancient Christian philosopher and theologian Augustine suggested as much in his writings. The present is sought in the course of times and is not found, he wrote. Instead, then, we simply pass from what is not yet into that which no longer is. The now has nothing to do with it. In antiquity as well, we have stumbled upon two opposing approaches to time. For Marcus, we must learn to live in the now as the only real phase of time. For Augustine, however, the Stoic dream is a product of human hubris. We do not get to master time by forcing it to slow down so we can dwell in the present. Instead, we find ourselves already caught up in time, pulled onward without any present. Perhaps what we must then do is learn to live in a time without a now. This will, of course, leave us vulnerable to both the past and the future. For Augustine, however, learning to accept our own vulnerability is part of what it means to live well. In the 21st century, the mindfulness movement has become a full-fledged industry. Stoic workshops advertise reductions in anxiety and increases in workplace productivity. Silicon Valley has been quick to get on board, with Headspace becoming a multi-million-dollar app. Yet, this focus on the present risks leaving behind those most vulnerable in our society. As Ruth Whitman has written, the mindfulness industry risks reducing happiness to individual effort. But if there's one thing Augustine was clear about, it was that individual effort was never enough. When it comes to temporality, it's never a question of overpowering the river of time. And with regard to life in general, it's never as simple as wanting it more or willing oneself to victory. Part of learning how to be vulnerable, as Augustine argues in his Confessions, is learning how to ask for help. But why can't we just hide in the present? Why can't we just find soothing comfort in the now? Won't this help us become better people? Won't this help us become more productive? Augustine reminds us to be wary of this way of thinking. We cannot take refuge in the now as an island in time. It's not possible for the simple reason that there is no now. And so present-mindedness offers only false comfort. That's why we're going to have to learn to live with the future.